Sir.
I might have to sign the prescription myself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Get you right.
It's that sip talk.
Sure, what up, big dog? Yes, sir. Everything good. What's
It's that
this?
sip talk.
Welcome, everybody. Today we are here on another episode of the Sip Talk podcast. It's a special edition. We're at Xtreme Performance today. My guy AJ, man, what's going on?
What's going on, bro?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Man, I love the facility, man.
Yes, sir.
I really do, man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Want to get you to show me around, man.
Okay.
Just show me a few exercises,
Yes, sir.
stations, man.
Yes, sir.
Let me see what you're working with around here.
Bench press. Get you some reps in.
All right.
Reps. Really not too crazy. Let me see what else I can show you. Hit through. Then we can get you some hamstrings in. This is by far one of my favorite machines we got in the gym. So
Okay.
we're a big speed-based facility, so we do a lot of free weight stuff and explosive stuff. So we don't use a lot of machines, but I love this one, especially key for developing some hamstring strength when you're working in. So you can pop in like that, and then you just push it down, then you just work yourself back up. This is real good on your hamstrings here. And it's big on speed because we're a big speed-based facility. So a lot of stuff we do, I try to program a lot of speed stuff and getting the leg stuff strong on that end. Safety squats, so we can get our squats in, work our legs, stuff like that on that end.
Yeah.
Then you got your Nordic curl. We got a lot of bands and stuff on that end. So we do a lot of training with the bands, especially for speed and stuff of that end. Then over here we got some of our foam rollers and stuff. So when we get our legs, our hurdles, so we can do some speed and explosive. And then just having more than enough stuff, man. I've been training full time now for 5 years. So built up a big and good program, working with a lot of athletes around the North Mississippi area, helping them get better, stronger, faster from there.
All right, man, let's go ahead. Let's chop.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yes.
I really appreciate you inviting me to the building, man, for this interview, man. It's been a long time coming, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I want to just go ahead and start it out. First off, just ask how you doing, man.
Man, everything good. Everything good. Blessed, man. Blessed.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
So where are you at mentally right now, man? From 1 to 10, how you feeling?
Man, 1 to 10, I think I'm about an 8 or 9, man. Really good as far as blessed, man. Really blessed. So as far as, when you got a lot of things going good for you in life and, everything as far as he's taking care of stuff for me, so I'm being blessed and able to, pour and help other people. Yes, sir.
How important is it for people to maintain their mental health daily? How important is that for you?
Yes, sir, man. As far as that the mental goes a lot longer than as far as everything. If you ain't got mental health, you don't have anything. Just like I tell my athletes and stuff in here, we got to be, mentally as far as having discipline and stuff like that. Because if you ain't got discipline, you ain't got nothing. It's just like, so if you ain't got no discipline, you won't have that mental. So that's a big thing as far as the mental aspect goes over and carries into everything you do in life, not just, stuff like this.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, well, before we talk about this wonderful training facility you got, man, I want to start it back, man. Take me back to when you were first introduced to fitness training. What were your earliest experiences like before you even considered starting this business up?
Man, my early experience, so I started up in 2021 under Coach Wilson Love, Ole Miss's Lane Kiffin's first strength coach when we first started going, winning a lot of games, as we like to say around here. But so I worked with that staff, man. I learned a lot there. And from there, I went on to Rebel Body Fitness in Oxford over by Kabuki with Lawrence Morocco. And from there, man, I learned a lot. And I always wanted to be around sports, especially if I couldn't play sports, always being, somewhere in that field, being able to work with athletes and stuff like that. So, doing that was always, and when I started that, the coaches always said there, man, if you take it serious, make sure you can have a career with it, after that. So my 8 months up there, I made sure I took it serious and, I got blessed to, get a job, training right out of, school.
Absolutely, man. All right, before we go on, man, I like to do this little game. It's called Rapid Five Questions. I got a bag sitting there right beside you to your right, man. I want you to choose a question out, answer all 5 of them. And
All
just,
right.
we're going to let the world see a little different side of you before we get started serious, man.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, first one. What is your go-to cheat meal? I'm a big hamburger guy, man. I love hamburger. So, hey, man, hey, mama cooking hamburgers. I'm going Miss D's down the street
Ooh,
getting a good old hamburger now.
Dress it up, man. What's on the burger, man?
What's on the burger? You know, the old lettuce, tomato, onion, keep it smooth. I don't like pickles, but, you know, I take some mayo, mustard, you know, stuff like that.
Okay, all right.
Let's see,
Number 2.
another one out of here. All right. If you could be any animal in the world, what would you be and why? Man, I got it on my arm. A cheetah. Because cheetah fast. Got to be fast. I love some speed, so a cheetah so you can run fast. 2 there.
You ain't going to tap out at 70, are you?
Nah, I'm pumping up over 100.
Okay.
All right. What is the best piece of advice given to you that you live by? Man, it's a lot of good stuff, man. But as far as, you know, how you do, I'm big on how you do anything is how you do everything. So I had a parent, you know, he's big on telling that to his kids, and I took that into a lot of heed, especially, you know, the discipline, right? Stuff like that. So how you do anything is like how you do anything. You show up late, you're lazy and stuff like that. That go on to how you carry, you know, real world stuff. So making sure, you know, you do everything, you know, on a good schedule.
Sir.
It's 3 down. Let's see, number 4. Who we got here? All right. Who was your favorite teacher that had the biggest impact on your life? Man, I had a lot of good teachers growing up.
Shout them out, man.
Man, hey, I'll say, all right, Miss Lauren Hill, especially, you know, she was big on instilling that discipline into me. She was very hard on me, but it helped me in life to get to, you know, places like this. And the type of stuff she instilled in me today, I'm still, you know, big on that. Brian Buckhalter, Mr. Buckhalter was real big on me in middle school as far as, you know, how you do anything is how you do everything. So making sure you know you stand stern with doing your schoolwork and going hard in the classroom the same way you go out, you know, in your sports and stuff like that. So that's 2. Another one. Coach Bush, man. Coach Bush was, you know, he was a teacher for me, a history teacher for us, but he was my track coach, man, and he instilled, you know, everything in me as far as wanting to be a coach and, you know, loving your guys and you know, your people outside of, you know, training, knowing at the end of the day, you're going to be a grown man in the world. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're black men in the world. So, you know, the stuff we do, we got to go a little bit harder sometimes on, you know, stuff like that. 4.
Right.
Got one more.
Down to the last one.
All right, let's see what we got. See what this one is. Know it's gonna be a good one. Name a song you listen to that people would never guess you would like. Man, I don't know, man.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
Man, I like Morgan Wallen, man. I listen to some Morgan, man. So, you know, I bump that Morgan. So I bump a Morgan song any day. Especially, I like that one with the remake of that song he made with, you know, and Nelly remade it. It's that Twister remake.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So, extreme fitness training. Tell me, how did they get started? How did the idea come about?
Man, I always, like I said, I was an athlete growing up, and man, my junior year, going into my senior year of track and field, I kind of had a real bad injury of pulling my hamstring. And so from there, I kind of, you know, gave up sports in my career. So I didn't go on to college, you know, taking scholarships to run track and field. And so from there, when I went to, I went 2 years of JUCO at Northwest. And then from there, I went on to Ole Miss. And I knew I always wanted to be around sports and, you know, stuff like that. So, man, I went to school with the Biancos, and I called up Coach Mike Bianco, and I told him, I said, Coach, I need some help trying to, you know, get a job and stuff and kind of in the sporting field. And he asked me, are you going to take it serious? And I said, yes, sir. And he told me he'll call Coach Love tomorrow. And from there, man, I got, you know, working into the field of doing strength and conditioning with the Ole Miss football team. And from there, man, working with the athletes and seeing, you know, helping, you know, helping the coaches, as far as being an intern, putting weight on the bar and learning how to train and learning the stuff to be, a certified strength and conditioning coach or certified speed coach. And from there, man, I knew I wanted to do sports full time, and I wanted to kind of only work with athletes. So as far as I pushed into more extreme performance training, they were like, extreme, what do you mean by extreme? I mean, we're going to train hard, and that's the main thing as far as being extreme, training hard and always going 110% when you're in the gym, so that you're seeing everything get better. So when you step on the field or the court, all your hard work is paying off, because always training and practice should be harder than the game. So if that's harder, then it makes everything else easy.
So what do y'all emphasize here? Like when you say extreme training, what is your biggest emphasis?
So my biggest emphasis, man, everybody call me, I'm the speed guy around town.
Speed.
So we big on speed. Whenever I have a parent call me, as far as the first thing is helping the kid. My son, he needs faster feet, or I want him to run faster laterally. So it's always the speed. So when I pushed into really pushing speed and performance and all things of that such, it was kind of the best thing for the business. And as far as this is a full-time performance gym. We're open 5 days a week. We have athletes. We see athletes from the time of 3:45 to 8:30 during the school days, and we have a lot of progress with the program we run, because we get a lot of parents in who understand what training is and how it's progressive. And I'm blessed to run a good program and actually help these athletes get better, and not just on the training side, but with the energy, the discipline, the stuff that goes a long way further than just showing up and being an athlete.
Okay, I'm glad you said that about the youth, man. One thing I like about your page is I saw on there you shout out an athlete every month. So what goes into choosing your athlete of the month?
Man, so a lot of people think the athlete of the month is just as far as showing up, being the fastest guy in the room, because we're a speed-based affiliate, having the highest vertical jump in the room, and it goes a lot beyond that. At the end of the day, we're gonna go with an athlete who sees the biggest progression, from month to month, who steps in the door, and it's never a day of, okay, I had sports practice before I'm coming into my extra training and I'm just tired, and they show that throughout, because at the end of the day, training's hard, and so a lot of things go in there, but the main thing as far as me is just showing up and going 110%, even if you don't want to be here for the day, because that's when we really get better. Most days we show up, we want to be there, but who's gonna show up and go hard when they don't want to be there?
Yes, sir. I like that, man. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna shout out AJ on this quote, man. I love this quote right here. It says, "We're trained to help you become the highest version of yourself." So when I say it to you, what comes to your mind, and what impact has this journey had on your life personally?
Man, a big impact, man. Especially, I always say, as far as most of the people I get are athletes, of that nature. But even if I get a kid in here who's not an athlete, I'm gonna push into them. So I had a kid I'm very proud of. I worked with for 4 years, and when he came in, man, his goal was he wasn't an athlete, but his mom wanted him in here, to get better and just learn basic discipline as you grow up. And this kid lost over 60 pounds, man, in the course of a year. And we trained him. I trained him as an athlete, but he wasn't an athlete. But his discipline of just showing up, or posting his meals, and doing all the extra stuff outside of the gym, and just showing that he actually wanted it. And that's why I do the stuff like this for a kid who actually is gonna come in here and work hard for a year or two and see, they might come in at a 15-mile-per-hour kid, so not the fastest, and by the time, of course, of 3 years, they might turn into an 18-mile-per-hour kid now, running a fast 40-yard dash and trying to get an NIL deal, where how the game changed. Now every kid want NIL. So stuff of that nature, man, just seeing it actually pay off, and seeing a kid, seeing a kid's face when they see their PR or some of that nature, man. That's what fulfills me and makes me go hard every day when I'm in here.
All right. So we're talking about training and everything right now, but just as important as training is, recovery is just as important as training. So explain to the people what therapy recovery is pertaining to your training.
Man, therapy recovery is big in training, especially here for us. We've had our therapy recovery boots in our full-scale recovery room for about the past year and a half now, and it's a big thing as far as recovery with athletes nowadays, because we just talked about the NIL, you
Yeah.
know, so on that scale. So if an athlete's trying to go play professional D1, D2, JUCO level ball, they have to be doing training outside of just going to practice, because the game is scaled. Everybody's doing something outside of practice.
Right.
So having that recovery room, man, for our athletes who are, you know, working, you know, might have had Coach G, you know, training at Xtreme and football practice at Tupelo, Oxford, or South Panola for the day. Having that extra recovery room with the massage chairs and the Therabody boots is going to alleviate that extra soreness out their legs and help them be able to perform at the highest level constantly, because, man, you know, training and just being an athlete, it's a grind. It's always going 110%. So we got to make sure we're doing extra things outside of, you know, our mobility, our stretching, you know, and our speed and our lifting, to make sure we're getting that extra recovery so that we can play, you know, at the highest level, and you know, maybe get a kid who's a LeBron James, 24 years in the league, because he's taking his recovery just as serious as, you know, his training and getting better.
Yes, sir. I like that, man. All right, so the correlation between your diet and working out. I'm gonna ask you a question. I know it's rhetorical, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Can you outwork a bad diet? I'm asking for a friend.
Man, hey man, look, when you get me, I'm almost tell folks, I'm a DK Metcalf guy. When they come to, we talking about food and candy and stuff. So sometimes, man, no, it cannot outweigh it. At the end of the day, you got to make sure you putting in the work as far as in the gym, you know, or doing as far as walking, jogging, anything of that such. That's why people can lose weight just by changing their food habits. So you got to make sure you're doing the food part on a big scale to make sure you're seeing all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, we all human, so we know you're gonna want to cheat a little bit, but make sure you getting, you know, doing everything right. You know, let's do 5 good meals a week, okay, and then have 2 cheat days, you know, Saturday, Sunday, you know, or Friday, Saturday, where you know, you cheat a little bit on your diet. But keeping a good diet is gonna help you a lot.
Process of consistency, hard work, dedication to your craft, even on days that you don't feel like and you'd rather not even get out the bed.
Man, so really just making sure you stay, as far as one, you know, close to God. So staying prayed up, doing your daily prayers, that's the main thing, because I have a lot of parents, man, as far as, I'm gonna say parents, I'll say people who, I'm very consistent, and I'm the only trainer that, you know, in my business right now, but I have a big following as far as a lot of people I work with on a daily and, you know, weekly basis. And it takes a lot sometimes, you know, but as far as, I love pouring into people and seeing other people get better, you know, through stuff like that. So making sure, you know, just one, showing up, man, showing up for your people. At the end of the day, I lost a cousin about 2 weeks ago, and, you know, man, I posted and I closed the gym down for, you know, that day, but just seeing how much love I got from, you know, my following, and, you know, that made me, you know, open the gym up the next day, you know, of going through a tough loss. So having, man, people in your corner, you know, it's having good people around you. At the end of the day, that's what makes, you know, the process of waking up and going hard, and especially helping others, because I always think of life as being of service to others. So at the end of the day, man, when you pouring into other people, it takes a lot. But, you know, daily, having the mental reset, you know, stuff like that to help you. But man, crazy as it sounds, the one thing that really helps me throughout the week is getting up and getting in the gym, man. When I get my workout in, I feel that it's my time to kind of mentally reset and not worry about, you know, training somebody else and helping somebody else. You know, that's my time to, you know, reset for the day. Okay, and then lock into, you know, the first session I had a day. So having the time to do stuff you need, you know, outside of your job or your, you know, for yourself, taking time to, you know, mentally reset. You know, it might be, I'm a big video game guy, so, you know, when I'm not up here training them or training myself, I like playing the video games. I'm a car guy, so doing, you know, playing with my car and stuff like that, man. Just having the stuff outside of your job, you know, small hobbies and stuff like that, being with your family, you know, stuff like that helps a lot, to where it's easier to, you know, go into work and work 6 days out the week, you know, stuff like that. So just having that time to mentally reset with, you know, a small hobby or something outside of your daily job, and that keeps you, you know, where you can work a, you know, 4 5 months in a row without having to take a vacation and stuff like that, man. Yes, sir.
All right, man. So my last question, man, I call this Talk Your Talk, man. This is the time you get to shout your business out, and the people who are currently helping you, who have helped you on your journey, man. The floor is yours, man. Take off.
Man, hey man, so I'll say as far as main thing, extreme performance training, you know, I work with a lot of people as far as over the years, tried out as far as my main coaches that helped me, my mentors on my road to success, Jaws Beckham, he's the head of Mississippi State, KJ Florin, he's the head of Georgia State, David Blackburn, he's been a big inspiration in my life as far as seeing how to run a business and, you know, staying consistent with what you're doing as far as in your kids' lives and stuff of that nature, man. And then Russ Pratt, he was the first guy to kind of give me a chance outside of, you know, doing, you know, as far as a chance outside of training and pushing into my own business full scale. So, you know, he let me train at his facility and kind of grow my business on that scale. And, you know, so man, it's, you know, having a lot of people in your corner and coaches and stuff you can look back on and go back to, and just, you know, people always in your corner, man, to help you pour into others.
All right, so there you have it, man. I will be dropping the link to Extreme Fitness in the video. Thank you, AJ, again,
Yes,
man, for inviting us here, man.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, I love
Appreciate
this facility,
y'all
man.
coming through, man.
I love the growth, man.
Yes, sir.
Salute. And I will be paying attention. I will be following and watching
Yes, sir.
everything, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. I heard it first, man. Sip toe.
Yes, sir.